Hey everybody, it's Matt, Wrestling with Whiskey, back with a patron exclusive video. I don't have the whole setup today because I'm kind of running all over the place, but I wanted to get this out to you because not too long ago I just happened to stumble into a really good trade. This is how I got across this, was the 2019 George T. Stagg, and I wanted to sip that, along next to the 2018 GTS because the 2018 was one of my favorite whiskeys I've ever had. It was unreal with the sweetness and the deep levels of like fruit and char and all this stuff, and I loved it. One of the favorite things it's had. I'm working my way, and I'm so sad it's going to go away soon. But that's the beauty of whiskey. And so this is the first time I've ever had two of the antique collection at the same time. So I thought it'd be fun to see what they tasted like side by side. Give you my thoughts on if either one of them is worth more going after. Give you a little bit of a breakdown about the two of them. They're both about the same age. That's usually what George T. Stagg comes out at. It's around 15 years old, give or take a few months. So they're both about the same age. From a variety of warehouses, so that's not different this year either. That's still the same. The big difference that they have said is that this year's a lot of the barrels came from lower floors of these warehouses, and that's why it's the lowest proof George T. Stagg to date. And it is only 116.9. Now, to some of you, that's probably still high. Anything over 100 proof might be high to you. But for George T. Stagg, which has a history of having proofs above 140, I mean, there are hazmat Staggs out there that I want to try, but I don't even know if I'd like. That is high proof. But with all the age on it and some of the honey barrels they pick, it might drink a lot smoother, a lot sweeter than that high proof would have you believe. So that's pretty much the main difference, is those low barrels from the warehouses, the lower proof on the 2019. And the 2018, it is 124.3. So that's more typical. Even that was pretty low for Stagg though. Stagg is usually in the 130s. But again, last year I had it and I loved it so much. So let's go ahead and try these two magnificent unicorns side by side. So typically I'm going to start with 2018. This right here was one of my favorite whiskeys I've ever had. Like I said, trying to drink it quickly now because I'm like by that halfway mark. And at that point, you're going to get a lot of oxygen. And so probably at least in the next year, I'm going to be putting this bad boy away because I'm going to put a sample away for good measure, but you want to start drinking that. You probably got 6 to 8 months once it reaches that halfway point before you start getting some kind of degradation, is what I've read. So cheers, 2018 George T. Stagg. Oh my God. Not to be hyperbolic, but this is just, it's beautiful. I mean, there's like honey and molasses on there. It's oak and tobacco and like peppery spice. Vanilla and plum cherries. Even like a little bit of almost like cardamom, like something from an Earl Grey tea. Like this is super bold. And even still, for 124 proof, this does not nose like that. The deep fruits and everything are unreal. Taking a sip now. Well, wait. You know what? We're going to nose before we sip. It's the cat trying to get in. Locked them all out. Ooh. That's got a lot of the same kind of notes. But you can tell it's not quite as bold on the nose either. It's not quite as intense. But there's subtle fruitiness, apples and citrus almost. More floral, a little bit more sugary. Very interesting. I'm wondering, given the low proof, how this is going to be on the mouthfeel and like the viscosity of it, because that's what I love, a bourbon you can chew on. That's always been a big MO of mine. Love viscosity, thickness, a great mouthfeel. So let's take a dive back into the 2018. The best way for me to describe that is just like velvety pepper. You know what I mean? Like it's this molasses, I'm going to go back to, rolling down the tongue, strong in the back of the palate, like makes your mouth water from the back. And it's hearty honey, but then it's tingling with peppery spice the whole way through. I'm using a lot of hand motions here, forgive me. But that is just, it's a nice balance of like elegance and boldness, you know what I mean? It's like the best tasting piece of wood you've ever had. There is some deep cherry and plum. I love the oak tannins on this. 15 years old for a bourbon. I think if you like oak, it's amazing. That 12 to 15 years can be really nice. Can get over oaked, but when it's aged in the right place and and blended well, like this batch, ooh, those tannins can be mixed with the leather and tobacco and the fruit, from the bourbon, from the grains and everything. It's just like, oh. I'm going to stop now just because I know it can get ridiculous, but still stands to me one of the best bourbons, best whiskeys I've had to date. Now, 2019. Similar kind of things, as I said, much lighter, a little bit more fruity, like light fruits, apples, citrus, and stuff I had on the nose, right? This is a lower proof. I'm very curious about the mouthfeel on this one. This I've not had yet. This is fresh cracked. So you are seeing me taste this for the first time. Yeah. Light. Again, a lot of those light notes, a lighter pepper, much more floral herbal notes coming through on this one. A little less like of the honey and syrupiness of the 2018. But you know what? The bold, it's still barrel proof. The barrel proof just happens to be 116. That lower warehouse selection really, so it doesn't feel like lower proof. The viscosity is there. The boldness is still there. It's just slightly different. It's not quite as heavy. So if you don't like those punch you in the face, don't get me wrong. This is still packed with flavor. But this is a little bit more light and delicate. Yeah. Apples, orange peel, herbally, floral nature much more than the 2018. Gotta go back one more. Wow. So, you want to put two dragons next to each other, two behemoths. I mean, I know there's been some incredible George T. Staggs. That's why it's always one of the most sought after of the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection. And a lot of people think it's dropped off, but you know what? Maybe I'm still new enough to the bourbon game where these are incredible. 2019, I feel very lucky to have, and the trade I made was worth it. But the cool thing is, I have to say, by a rather prominent nose, 2018 still stands the test of time. It's only 1 year, granted, but you call it the higher proof, whatever. I'm, again, bigger, bolder. I love those heavy honey molasses notes, syrupiness. It's a little bolder. This brings some light character to it in the 2019, which is also really good. It doesn't sacrifice the mouthfeel, though, at the lower proof. There's just as much subtlety and beauty at that proof as the higher proof. But, man, 2018 still stands the test of time for me. Still one of the best whiskeys I've had. Still one of the best bourbons I think I've ever had. So that might be the cornerstone to top when it comes to some of my favorite bourbons. Thank you guys. Just a quick video, Patreon exclusive. Thank you so much for being a patron. Keep watching for March Madness updates. Keep watching for Earn Your Bourbon updates. We're gonna do some fun videos with that besides just, posting workouts. I have some fun ideas coming up. Thank you guys so much. Message me with any questions, anything, comments, concerns, complaints, anything you have, and I will see you soon. And always remember, be wrestling with whiskey.